I would like you to think about your most recent sexual experience. I would like you to think about every detail of that, from the beginning to the end, where it happened, every aspect of that moment. Now, I'm going to ask you questions about that, and I need you to tell me about it. How does that make you feel? Now, take that feeling you're feeling, that uncomfortableness, and have that be a 6, 7, 8-year-old, 9-year-old child that has to do that very same thing.
I think I started to see a problem back in the late 90s while I was in the prosecutor's office, prosecuting child abuse cases. I remember one case in particular where a girl, she was about 10, she was disclosing abuse that she suffered at the hands of a family member. And so she had 5 unrelated adults in the room with her. Not only did she do that interview, she also did an interview with a police officer after that, a medical professional. Then she went to counseling and then interviewed for court. That's just re-traumatizing the child. We would never do that to adults. Why are we requiring kids to do this? And I thought we need to do a better job. We need to figure out a better way.
When a child has been abused, there is a certain investigative process that has to happen. All the various individuals and agencies that are involved in that investigative process need to interview the child. The Center for Safe and Healthy Children is the kind of cornerstone that brings all the organizations that have to deal with that child with abuse together.
Well, we are a child advocacy center, and we provide a more family-friendly setting for the victims to come in and talk. It's like a one-stop location where they can come in and make referrals to mental health, to get a medical exam if they need it. It makes a very traumatic situation for the child and the family less, because they only have one place they have to come.
Take your worst experience and imagine that you have to retell it 6 or 7 times. Now they only have to tell it one time by a forensic interviewer that we have here in Hancock County. It's digitally recorded with state-of-the-art equipment, and it can be used by the prosecutor, by the grand jury. It can be used in preparation for trial, and the child doesn't have to talk to all the people along the way.
So centers like this were created about 20 years ago as a model to bring everything under one roof, where you had your interview done by Children's Services, a law enforcement, detective. Those professionals were well trained on how to do it forensically so that the questions got the information we needed. And then they could literally walk right down the hall, see a physician who was trained in child abuse, get a medical exam that brought not only the evidence out, but also a sense of healing to the victim. But really a one source place where people could do it privately. So when this happens, they don't have to have that shame of being out in public, of their neighbors knowing, of their doctor's office knowing, and essentially the whole community being aware of what happened.
It's a completely different philosophy from the way we used to do investigations. It's completely focused on what's best for the child.
We see about 120 kids a year, and that's just sexual abuse. And really, that's a high number for the size of our community. A few months ago, we had a child that ran away, and the child showed up at the center. He came to the center because he felt safe, and he felt that that was a place people would help him. And that right there, just that one incident shows how the center works and how the kids feel comfortable coming in there and how it's helping them.
An abused child is an abused child. I don't care if they're from Upper Sandusky, or they're from Kenton, or they're from Tiffin. Those counties around us do not have anything like we have, nor do they have the funds to start one.
I mean, we're surrounded with smaller counties, and we want to open the use of the center up to those counties too, because they have the same problems we do.
Wouldn't it be fantastic if we're trying to open our doors to those other counties so they can come and use our facility for the abused children. I mean, it doesn't matter where they're from.
Child abuse happens everywhere, every community, every county in the country, unfortunately. Now human trafficking moving in, and you're talking the average age of a child that's being forced into sex trade for human trafficking is age 12. Yeah, it's a necessity for the area to have something like this.
But the problem is that now we work to keep the doors open. So we need funds yearly to keep the center moving forward. It's really vital that it continues. And I think the community really has a moral obligation to support it.